For more than half my life, I felt broken, invisible, worthless, and so wrapped up in my pain and my trauma that I couldn't even hear my own soul, let alone trust it. Welcome to a Drop of Soul podcast. I'm Kim Wakefield, and this is your space for gentle, practical wisdom to help you live in deeper connection with your soul and higher consciousness, one drop at a time. In today's episode, we're exploring a question I hear all the time. How do I hear my soul when my mind is so loud? You might really want to be following your inner guidance system or live more soul-led, but in reality, it can feel like your thoughts never stop. Your anxiety gets there before your soul does, and you can't tell if it's guidance or just overthinking in a spiritual outfit. You're not broken for feeling that way. Most of us are never taught how to recognize the difference between the voice of fear and the voice of conditioning, and the quieter, deeper voice of the soul, or even of spirit. So today, I want to gently unpack that. We'll talk about why your mind gets so loud, how your soul tends to speak, and some ways that are quite simple to start telling the difference between the two. And then we'll finish with a short practice you can actually use in your everyday life. For more than half my life, I felt broken, invisible, worthless, and so wrapped up in my pain and my trauma that I couldn't even hear my own soul, let alone trust it. There were years where I honestly believed I didn't deserve to exist, like there was something wrong with me that I couldn't fix. I remember lying awake at night, my mind spinning with fear and shame, replaying every mistake, every rejection, every moment I felt unseen or unworthy, which was pretty much all the time. My mind was so loud, so desperate to keep me safe, that I couldn't hear the truth buried underneath. The truth that my soul was there, quietly screaming for me to make a change, to choose myself, to believe I was worthy of more, even if that was just a little bit, to do everything and anything I could to seek that out. But when you're in that place, the mind's noise is deafening. It's not bad or unspiritual. It's just trying to keep you safe. And perhaps it's done so for a very long time. And sometimes it gets so loud that your soul can't get a word in. I know that pain. I've lived it. And if you're there now, know that you are not alone. You have never been alone. Let's start with something important. Your mind is not the enemy. Your mind isn't bad or unspiritual. It's just been trying to keep you safe for a very long time. It has learned to scan for danger, predict worst-case scenarios, and keep you within what feels familiar and manageable. So when you start talking about following your soul or listening to your intuition, your mind often jumps in with things like, okay, but what if I get hurt? What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I lose everything? What if it just proves I'm worthless after all? That's not your soul, honey. That's your nervous system and your conditioning doing their job, often a little too eagerly and a little too well. The mind tends to be fast, loud, urgent, and a bit dramatic. It wants certainty. It wants guarantees. It wants to know the whole plan before you take the first step. It wants to know that that desired outcome is locked in and already loaded. So if your mind is loud, it doesn't mean you're not spiritual enough. It means you're human and your soul came here to be human. I cannot stress that enough. The work isn't to get rid of your mind, it's to learn how to relate to it differently so you can hear the quiet voice underneath. Your soul usually doesn't shout, it tends to speak in quieter, more subtle ways. You might feel a sense of rightness or resonance in your chest or belly, a gentle pull towards something or away from something, a repeated nudge, idea, or theme that keeps coming back, a sense of this is me or this is not me that you can't quite explain. You just know. And you momentarily might hear it between the loudness of what your mind normally is. Your soul is often calmer than the mind. Its messages are simpler. It's less interested in convincing you and more interested in what's true and aligned. Where the mind says, we need to think this through from every angle right now, the soul often says, you already know. Where the mind goes into, what if, what if, what if, the soul might just quietly say, this doesn't feel right, or this feels like home. It's not always comfortable. Sometimes your soul will nudge you towards something that scares you, a change, a conversation, a boundary, an unavoidable change of circumstances that you can't control. Probably because you didn't listen the first 10 times. But even when it's stretching you, there's usually a deeper sense of truth in it. Not, this is easy. Well, sometimes. But more of a, this is true for me. So, how do you tell if it's your mind or your soul speaking? One way is to listen to the tone. The mind's tone is often anxious, urgent, critical. We have to decide now. You'll regret this. Who do you think you are? The soul's tone is usually steadier and more grounded. This isn't for you. This is time. You deserve more than this. This is the direction. Another way is to notice the speed. The mind is fast. It jumps from scenario to scenario. The soul is slower. It repeats the same truth over time until you listen, often getting louder and louder if it needs to. If something is chasing you around your head, changing shape constantly, it's probably the mind. If something keeps returning in a consistent way, the same feeling, the same knowing, that's more likely your soul. You can also pay attention to your body. Mind-only decisions often leave your body feeling tight, fuzzy, or unsettled. Soul-aligned nudges might still feel scary, but there's usually a deeper sense of yes or relief in your chest or belly, a softening in your heart, a sigh of relief coming from the body, a little more space in your breath, a quiet, grounded, this is for me, even if there's still a little fear present, even if there's still a little bit of resistance present. And then there's direction. The mind is often trying to avoid pain at all costs. The soul, even though it tends to make more pain as it goes, the soul is more interested in truth and growth than in comfort. So your soul might lead you out of something that's slowly hurting you towards something that asks more of you, even looks a little messy at first, or into a path that doesn't make sense to everyone else but feels deeply aligned for you. Your mind might say, this is risky. Your soul might say yes, and it's time, even though I can't see the outcome right now. Let's turn this into something that you can actually use. If it's safe to do so, you might like to close your eyes for a moment or just soften your gaze, but just stay present. Bring a hand to your heart. Think of something in your life right now where you feel confused or torn. It might be a decision, a relationship, a next step, or a situation that just feels noisy inside you. Don't pick the biggest thing in your life. Just choose something that feels alive but manageable to sit with for a moment. First, we're going to let the mind speak. Silently, you might ask, Mind, what are you worried about here? And then just notice what comes up. Let your mind list its fears, its what ifs, its concerns. You don't have to argue with it. You're just listening. You might even quietly say inside yourself, Thank you for trying to keep me safe. Now take a nice slow breath. Gently drop into your heart area. Bring your attention there and ask, Soul, what is true for me here? Soul, what do you want me to know about this? You're not forcing an answer. You're just opening a door, taking a peek at what is possible. Notice what you feel. A word, a phrase, a sense, a picture, or simply a feeling in your body. More open, more closed, pulled towards, pulled away. Just notice. And if nothing comes, that's okay. Sometimes the first step is just making the invitation. You might ask, Heart, how do you feel about this? And again, just notice. Does your chest feel tighter as you imagine one option? Does it feel a little more spacious as you imagine another? You're not making a big decision right now. You're simply practicing hearing both. The mind with its fears and protections, and the soul with its quieter, deeper knowing. Over time, this kind of check-in builds trust. Your mind starts to learn, I'm not being ignored, I'm being heard, but I'm not the only one driving anymore. And your soul starts to learn, when I speak, I'm listened to. In real life, this doesn't have to be a long ritual. You can turn it into a simple moment. One hand on your heart, one breath, one question. Mind, what are you afraid of here? Soul, what is true for me here? Or, what would fear choose? Or, what would my soul choose? Or, even, what would love choose? You don't always get a clear answer straight away, and that's okay. The practice itself of pausing, asking, listening, is you living more soul aligned, even before the big clarity arrives. So, how do you heal your soul when your mind is so loud? You don't have to silence the mind to make it wrong. You learn to listen to it, thank it for its input, and then listen beyond it. You start to notice the tone of fear versus the tone of truth, the speed of anxiety versus the steadiness of knowing, the tightness of self-abandonment versus the quiet relief of self-honoring. You let your mind share its worries, and then you give your soul a chance to speak too. As you move through the rest of your day, you might like to try that simple check-in. One hand on your heart, one breath, and soul, what is true for me here? Heart, what do you need from me here today? You might be surprised by how much you already know. but perhaps have been avoiding. If this drop of soul landed for you, you'll love Fierce Truths magazine, a sacred sanctuary of spiritual wisdom, real stories, and soul-led guidance. And if you feel called to deepen your experience with me, you can join Fierce Truths Plus for live soul sessions, guided meditations, and soulful resources designed to help you turn spiritual insight into real change, so your daily life starts to match what your soul has been asking for. As a thank you for being a loyal listener, use code DROP25 to get 25% off Fierce Truth Plus when you join. You'll find everything you need at our Fierce Truths magazine website. See you there.